Now, miasms is one of my favorite subjects because it can have such a great impact on the body. Miasms are something that Hahnemann, when he was originally formulating different homeopathics, discovered, because he would work on all types of different things with people, but he started noticing that there were trends in different people that seemed to be in almost everybody. And over time, he was able to narrow it down to that it was trends that came about because of different diseases that had been present in ancestral lines. So the ancestors had had different things that left a dent, so to speak, on the person's DNA, and this would impact the whole body. And so he looked into energetically developing different homeopathics that would work with those different tendencies or weaknesses that were in the body from the time that the sperm hit the egg because of what was inherited from the past. In the first illustration, you're going to see a triangle demonstration of the different ones that he found. And then you're also going to see a strand of DNA with the colors on it to represent the fact that these different inherited tendencies can have an impact on the body. Now, it doesn't mean that somebody is doomed, so to speak, to get the different things that can develop from these weaknesses. It just means that the possibility is there. And so we, as people using a mobile scanner, are able to look for when these different frequencies show up and are able to help somebody energetically with them to get to a more optimal state where these inherited tendencies are not going to have such an impact on the body. So you'll see in the first illustration there that it represents Psora, Syphilis, and Sycosis. And why would these be important? And we'll go into more of a description of what they are later. But why would these be important? Well, the second illustration that you have is representing some big railroad type spikes. Now, if you have a flat tire, you can get a nail in a tire and you can relatively easily have the nail taken out, patch the tire, put more air in the tire, and be able to function. However, miasms are more like these big railroad spikes. They can be something that has a profound impact on the body energetically. So they are important to look for, and they are important to work with when they appear frequency-wise in the body. Now, what exactly are these different miasms? Well, in the next graph, you're going to see information on exactly what the miasms are as far as their effect on possible genetics. You'll see that one of them is Psora, and that is tuberculosis in the family history. There's been a lot of research done, and it's been found that in European history, there was a lot of tuberculosis that was passed down through family lines because so much of the tuberculosis was found on the teats of cows that were being milked by dairy farmers, and it would get into the milk supply and then have people in different families actually come down with active tuberculosis. And then, as you can see here in the information, that tuberculosis tendency would manifest in future people from in that ancestral line as showing up as psoriasis, as eczema, as upper respiratory weaknesses like allergies, asthma, tendency towards bronchitis, pneumonia, any kind of skin breakout could be attributed if you start seeing it where it's showing up in your scanner as somebody having that Psora tuberculinum tendency. The second one is syphilis in the family line, or lucinum, syphilinum, lucinum, and that's where syphilis shows up in successive generations as being something that is nervous system degenerative, possibly leaning towards things that are degenerative. So what would some of those things be? It could be nervous tics, it could be seizures, could be bipolar, could be schizophrenia, could be Parkinson's, tremors, multiple sclerosis, muscular dystrophy, Alzheimer's, dementia. All these type of things in family lines can actually be seen in your scanner as, like you'll have a client come in and they'll say, oh yeah, my mom had Alzheimer's, my grandpa had dementia, I have a cousin that's got Parkinson's. A lot of those can be because genetically there's been a dent from 3, 4, 5 generations ago where there was syphilis in the family line. The next one is Sycosis. That's with an S, not a P. It comes from a Greek word that means skin tags and warts, and it represents acceleration in the body, accelerated growth, accelerated activity. It tends to show up in family lines as your cancers, your diabetes, your plaquing of the arteries, your heart disease, kidney stones, gallstones, cataracts, ADD, ADHD. Anything like that can often be leaned towards from the time of conception because of what was in the family line before a person was born. And then the last one is carcinosis, carcinosin, and that would be the tendency towards some rare family genetic cancers in a family line. So you can start to see that there's a lot involved with these different miasms. And so in your scanner, when you're working with your scanner, you can have it be in the next illustration where we have the value of numbers again. Remember, we're always looking for the ones and the nines. And then for those of you that have done phase 1, 2, and 3, you have the advantage of when you get your reports, especially after phase 2 and 3, you have the section that says miasms. And so those ones and nines are represented in that report. The following illustration shows an example of that. You have miasms where the liver is showing up under gonorrhea with a high cause, which would indicate an inflammatory type situation. You have the nerves of the lower body showing up under tuberculinum, which would be the tuberculosis Psora miasm. You have the other frequencies going down with the heart, with the lungs, with the lymphatics, with the pancreas. So paying attention to whether it's a high cause that is more of an inflammatory situation or a low cause which is affecting energetically the function can help you start connecting the dots between what the tendencies from these miasms can be connected with what's showing up in the body on a frequency level. And then you're able to work with it. Now, how do you work with it? And what's the benefit with your scanner of working with it? On the following illustration, you see just a few of the examples. It gives you the ability to be proactive. You can use the inner voice. Why is the inner voice important? Because the inner voice shows you the emotions that are affecting the body. The emotions that are affecting the body can have it be where different areas of the body are more susceptible to the things that have come across inheritance-wise when the sperm hit the egg from that genetic past, which is then going to show up as that psychosis, syphilinum, psorinum, or carcinosis. So always, just like Lauren has always said, go back to your inner voice and see where are the emotions affecting the body. It's one of the top 3 causes of why some of these other situations that can develop from the leanings energetically from those miasms can happen. Use your comprehensive and vitals. Use your body systems with the suggestions. Check for supplementation by scanning supplements and see what things are needed when miasms are showing up in the report. Using the different homeopathic support to support the body. Homeoenergetics is particularly valuable because in homeoenergetics, you have Sycosis DT, Syphilinum DT, you have Psorinum DT, and you have your Carcinosis DT. So you have all 4 miasms in homeoenergetics that you can use. You also can imprint your dots with the different frequencies, and it also shows when there's different lifestyle changes that need to be made in order to support the parts of the body that are being affected by those miasms. The next illustration shows you again those different things that are in your homeoenergetics. So you have your Sycosis DT, Syphilinum DT, Psora DT, Carcinosis DT, using ultimate emotions from the homeoenergetics. Once again, the inner voice, the body systems, programming playlists in order to support the areas that are showing up for miasms, the dots, and then paying attention to always to the different food sensitivities and the things going on with the gut, since the gut is such a foundation for health overall, and also the gut-brain connection that there is very important to pay attention to when you're having miasms come up on a regular basis. Now, the other benefit that there is for those of you that have done phase 2 and phase 3, once you've done phase 3, the areas that have the miasms, if you test them and under homeoenergetics, they come up for the Sycosis DT, the Syphilis DT, the Psora DT, or the carcinosis, the program is designed where the person's brain also picks up out the exact optimal frequencies for those particular remedies. So rather than just having a range like you normally would have with homeopathics, it's going to be very specifically tailored for the person's need for the body part that it's coming up under when it's tested. So that's something where in phase 3, with the ability to use the homeoenergetics that way, you have a very distinct advantage, not only with the miasm remedies that come up, but also with all the other remedies that come up for the particular parts of the body that are being tested. So that's some of the things that you can work with your scanner with miasms, sometimes taking a family history from them and finding out what the different family members on both sides of the family have had. You can very rapidly see and explain to them why those things are showing up for their mom, for their dad, for their grandparents, and then showing up for them as well when you're testing them with the mobile scanner, because it is coming through on the DNA from that genetic line. And then just encouraging them that this is on an energetic level. It's not diagnosing that they have any of these conditions. It's letting them know on an educational level that these are some of the things that they're carrying on their DNA in their body, and that they can actually elevate their frequencies of the body by using their scanner and finding out what things to support in the way of supplementation, hydration, playlists, anything that they can do as far as improving their diet, getting more exercise. Everything that their scanner educates them in elevates their frequencies so that these tendencies that come through are less of a concern when it comes to having optimal health. So there's a lot of value in having these miasms come up, knowing that they're a major component, working with them from all the different angles that you can work with your mobile scanner, and reassuring the person that you're working with that these are just energetic tendencies that can be worked with, compensated for, and improved in the body. As you do this, those different references in the reports will start to fall off. For those of you that have not done phase 1, 2, or 3, you can take a family history, and if those things are present on the family line, you still can go to homeoenergetics and imprint one of those remedies for them, knowing that that has been in their family line. So that's it for miasms tonight, but I just wanted to give you a heads up on the next video that we'll be doing. It's one that I'm very interested in. You can see by the last illustration that the next thing that we're going to be talking about is tattoo ink in your scanner. I personally got a pretty good sized tattoo on my back in 2010. Did a lot of research before I got it. Have done research since, and with the prevalence now of tattoos being done, I looked it up on the internet, and the increase of tattoos in the last 3-4 years is escalating at a very large rate. And so there is concern about how is tattoo ink going to be showing up in your scanner, the effects of it. So I'm researching the different types of inks, the different things that you can look for in your scanner, so that you can help the people that come to you for being tested and scanned with the possible effects that there might be from their having been tattooed. We're going to be seeing probably a lot more of this with people when we're scanning them. So it would be really good to be able to be proactive and to be able to help them with any possible side effects that there might be from the different types of inks that are being used and the different ways that it can affect the body. So that's it for this evening, and look forward to the next video where we will go into tattoo ink and your scanner. It'll be an interesting evening, and I think that you'll really enjoy it.
Okay, we're at the end of the call. I'm here with Lauren again.
Lauren Standen.
Lauren Standen. Love having Shelby here to close these calls out. Before you hang up, we got the contest, right? What are we going to do? We're stepping into a new quarter, right? And I love the idea of bringing our goals closer to us.
Yes.
And so if we can chunk it down where we look at things that we want to accomplish in any given time, whether it's a 1 year, 2 year, 10-year period, looking at it in smaller chunks, I think, is easier to manage for most of us. So what is your goal? What do you want to accomplish this quarter? July, August, September. What do you want to have? What change as you get to the end and wrap up September? What do you want to have happened to you in your life?
That's right. And maybe it's something that you're carrying through from the last quarter, or maybe even something that you're still working on from January when we all make those amazing New Year's resolutions.
Yep.
But we are going to give you something that we haven't given away in a long time.
Yes.
Because we want you to step into this next quarter with renewed enthusiasm. And so what are we giving away?
We're going to give away the Solex negative ion insoles. These go into your shoes. You can trim them, and you recharge them once every 2 weeks out in the sun, out in the daylight, and then put them in your soles. And that is so grounding.